What is going on, everybody? It is me again. It is HorrorFan34, and welcome to another video. And I know I'm very late with making this video, but I figure better late than never. This is going to be once again another convention recap video. This time from Monster Mania 58 up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which was back on March 8th. So I'm 20 days late with making this recap video, but like I said, better late than never. But I've done conventions like in the past couple years and all that stuff, but I've never made those recap videos because there was just so much conventions I went to. So maybe at some point I'll get those made and all that stuff, because I did Chiller twice last year and didn't make any recap videos for that. But in order, I'll catch up to those at some point. But as of right now, I'm just going to start doing the more recent ones that are coming up very soon, including this one that I just went to. But because April 19th, I do plan on going to the New Jersey HorrorCon up in Edison, New Jersey, so that should be a good one. I'm going to get 4 people at that convention, but I'll save those for when I do that recap video, so I'll keep that a surprise. But getting on to this one, Monster Mania 58 up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It was a great time, had a blast at this show. Definitely one of my favorite Monster Mania conventions I've been to in the last couple years. And here is the pamphlet, the flyer itself. A lot of really cool guests. They had Sam Raimi was the headliner of the show. They also had a Children of the Corn reunion, because it was a 40-year anniversary of Children of the Corn. So they had 3 people there. They had John Franklin, John Philbin, and Courtney Gaines. They had a Starship Troopers reunion where they had Dina Meyer, Michael Ironside, and Casper Van Dien. You had John Cleese, Katie Seagal, Lynn Shay, John Lovitz, Brad and Fiona Dourif, McKenna Grace from Ghostbusters Afterlife, Dick Warlock, who was Michael Myers in Halloween 2, and you also had Tom Atkins and Stacey Nelkin, Jane Levy, who was in the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. I mean, the list just goes on and on when it comes to the amount of guests that they had at this show. And the future shows they'll be having this upcoming year. The next one for August would be August 2nd. And as I say, Robert Englund and Clive Barker. And just a heads up about that, I will be meeting Robert Englund, because I did get a photo op with him for the show in advance, so really excited for that. I'm finally going to get a picture with Robert Englund. But that'll be for another time down the road when that show happens. But anyways, getting on to this one, I didn't buy anything from the vendors. There wasn't really too much in the vendors I really needed, but I figured I'll show the vendor item first, because it's really quick. It's only one thing, but I picked up one Blu-ray, the Shout Factory Blu-ray of Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Really cool that this finally got a Blu-ray especially from Shout Factory, because I had an old DVD of this. So really nice to finally get this in HD. So really happy with that one. Just put that to the side there, but that's the only thing I got from the vendor room, so I figure I'll show that first before I get onto the photos and all that stuff. So let's see, I'm just counting them real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I met 6 people at this convention. All 6 of these people were really, really fantastic people, really nice people to talk to, and things like that. And I'll tell you the prices and all that stuff too for each of these guests as well, so that way you get an idea of the idea, because I never did that before with convention recaps, but I'll start doing it for these ones as well. But anyways, getting on to the guests that I met. As soon as I walked into the door, like I said, I bought my ticket online, so that way I had it with me, and they just scanned me in. I get my wristband, they scan the QR code, and I'm into the show. And the first room I see is to my right, which is I forget the name of it. I don't know if it's the Riverside Pavilion in the hotel is the main autograph room. I think the gallery room is the smaller autograph room. So I went to that one real quick, because the first guest I wanted to get was in that room actually. So I figured, hey, since I'm right here, I'll get him first, and that is Michael Gross. Now, if you don't know who Michael Gross is, Burt Gummer himself from the Tremors franchise, and of course the dad Stephen Keaton from Family Ties. Those are the two main things he's really known for. But of course, I got him for Tremors. I had to get him on Tremors. I'm a huge fan of Tremors. I got him to sign my Arrow Video Blu-ray full-size poster of Tremors. The poster that comes in the Arrow Video Blu-ray of Tremors. I got him to sign my full-size poster of Tremors. Michael Gross was an extremely, really nice guy. Very down-to-earth guy. I knew I was in good hands because the people that were in front of me, with every person he met, because he would like take his time with the guests and talk, and then when the next person comes up to meet him, he says, he'll be like, "Oh, thank you for your patience." He'll reach his hand out and shake your hand and ask what your name was and things like that. Like, thank you for your patience. How are you doing? And then he'll talk to you, and just an awesome guy all around. When it was my turn to meet him, I busted out my Tremors poster. He's like, "Ooh, you got the big one going." And I was telling him, like, yeah, I wasn't too sure if I was gonna bring this or should I just get a poster from the vendor room. And I'm like, well, you know what? I have a full-fledged poster from the Arrow Video Blu-ray. Why not just bring that? It's my own item and things like that. So Michael Gross signed it in a really cool spot. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll show you that with the picture and all that stuff. I'm going to do the same thing with all the other conventions recaps that I've done, where I'll do the picture with me and the celebrity, them signing it, and then the autographed item, just like how I did with other ones in the past. But Michael Gross did where he signed it and everything. So I actually asked Michael Gross what it was like working with Fred Ward, and Michael Gross just had nothing but the greatest things to say about Fred Ward. He says when Fred Ward passed away, it hit him very hard because him and Fred Ward worked together quite a few times. Him and Fred Ward actually, he was telling me a really cool story about how him and Fred Ward worked together before Tremors on Big Business, which I never knew about. I'm like, oh wow, Michael Gross and Fred Ward worked together on Big Business. Never knew that. And he was also telling me a really nice story about how him and Fred Ward were up for the same award for something. He said what it was, but I don't remember what it was. Like a Screen Actors Guild or a Golden Globe, or it was something like that. Some kind of award. They were up for the same award, and Michael Gross ended up winning. And he's like, "Oh, Fred, I apologize for taking this from you. I didn't, but you know what I mean." It's just like. And Fred Ward, just completely understood. He's like, "Oh no, I get it," and things like that. And it just, Michael Gross is just like, it doesn't really matter if who wins and everything. Like, everybody always gives their all when it comes to performances and when they're up for the award. And he feels like everyone deserves an award for their performances, especially when they're up for the same one, because they both gave. He said he gave a great job with his performance, and how Fred Ward gave a great job with his performance. And he's like, I'm not really big with awards and everything like that, like, and all that stuff. So, that's just how humble of a guy Michael Gross is, and I can tell Michael Gross really had a great time at the convention and all that stuff. Just overall, really nice guy, Michael Gross. I'm really glad I was able to get him for Tremors. But I can't say nothing more about Michael Gross. And when I was done taking the picture with him, he shook my hand again and wished me a great weekend and thanks for coming out. And just an overall great experience meeting Michael Gross. So, anyways, hopefully I remember how to, edit the photos together in the Movie Maker and all that stuff. But here is my picture with me and Michael Gross. And here's a picture of Michael Gross signing my Tremors poster. And the autographed item of that, where he signed it. And like I said, here's where he signed it. It was a really cool spot where he signed it, so check it out. Okay, moving on here. As soon as I was done with Michael Gross, I hauled my way down to the Riverside Pavilion, which is the big tent room where the main autograph room is at, a really big room and all that stuff. So the next person I met was actually the main reason for me to go to this convention. I've been wanting to meet this lady for so many years now. Um, it's been a while, so I think since she has done Monster Mania and all that stuff. But the next guest that I met was Dina Meyer. Of course, all of you know her as Dizzy. I think her name's Dizzy in Starship Troopers and Detective Carey in the first four Saw movies, and I think she was in Johnny Mnemonic with Keanu Reeves, but I wanted her on Bats. I mean, I've talked about Bats quite a few times before. One of my favorite creature movies growing up as a kid. I love Bats to death. And I wanted to add her on my Bats DVD because I already have Lou Diamond Phillips on there from a few years ago, and I figured like it'd be kind of cool. Like I can get the two main stars on my DVD, and sure enough, on my front cover of my Bats DVD, now I have the two stars in the movie. And I probably say Michael Gross and Dina Meyer were the top two favorite guests that I met at this show. Dina especially. Dina was a really, really nice lady. Just a sweetheart of a lady. I was telling her, this might sound cheesy and all that stuff. I've been wanting to meet you for years and all that stuff. And I I'm honored to meet you and things like that. And she shook my hand and gave me a big smile and things like that. And she was cracking jokes with me. And even the guy that was in front of me, she was talking to me and him and just cracking jokes, and we were like laughing our ass off. She's a really, really funny lady. She has a great sense of humor. And when I showed her Bats, she was kind of surprised. She's like, "Ooh, I don't really see these, very, very often." I guess she's always used to signing Saw and Starship Troopers stuff, but no one ever, I guess, brings up Bats to her. But I told her that I was supposed to meet her. I wanted to meet her back in 2015 when she was there, but I was on vacation in Hawaii that week, so I didn't. And I was telling her that she's like, oh, how'd she say? Like, sorry, my nose is leaking. She was like, oh man, I'm glad you didn't turn out Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is beautiful and all that stuff. So what was really funny is when it was time to take the picture with me, one thing I wanted to share before I get to that point, she had a thing that I really wish a lot more celebrities would do. It's like this thing where it's like a bright light, and it makes the room like where she's standing a lot more brighter, and that way when you get your picture taken with her, it's a lot more brighter, and it's like you can see it a lot better, and has really nice lighting. You'll see it in the picture and all that stuff, but I really like the way that was set up and all that stuff, and and the way Dina poses with her fans and all that stuff, you can really tell she adores the fans and all that stuff, and you'll see that in the pictures and all that stuff. But and after I got my picture taken with her, she cracked a joke with me. She's like, I hope you get back to Hawaii again at some point and all that stuff. So and she thanked me for coming out. She like reached out to give me a hug, and she like literally squeezed, and when she hugged me, like squeezed very tightly, and just a really, really nice lady overall. You can definitely tell she adores her fans, and just has a great time doing these shows and all that stuff. Just an overall awesome lady. So anyways, here is my picture with me and Dina Meyer. And here's a picture of her signing my Bats DVD. And the autographed item of that. Okay, guys, so moving on here to the next guest. The next person that I met was John Franklin. Of course, all of you know him as Isaac from the original Children of the Corn. He was also Cousin It in the live action Addams Family films from the 90s. But of course, I got him for Children of the Corn. I really wanted him on a cool 8x10 where it's Isaac just like staring like this through the window in the very beginning of the original Children of the Corn. So I was hoping he would have that photo at his table, and he did. I keep forgetting that I forgot to mention prices. Michael Gross was $60 for a combo, which I think is a steal because of just how legendary he is. So $60 for a combo for Michael Gross is really a steal of a price. Dina Meyer was $80 for a combo, which I think is a good price as well because she's been in so many things and she's also really nice as well. So really do appreciate those. But getting on back to John Franklin, John was really nice guy as well. Very down to earth guy. He shook my hand and said asked what my name was, and as you can see, like in the pictures and everything, I'm rocking out my new Andrew Dice Clay T-shirt that I got for Christmas this past holidays. And we were talking about Andrew Dice Clay for a little bit, and I was asking him if he ever saw him in concert, and he's like, no, I've only seen him on the TV screen, just on TV. And he was joking around with me, saying like, would you like me to write this out to Dice? Like, we were both laughing our ass off, and I'm like, well, I wish my nickname was Dice. He's like, well, we could pretend I could write it out to Dice for you. So we were cracking jokes about that back and forth. But and when it was time to take the picture with John, John's like, let's make this let's make this really more authentic. And the way he posed for the picture, like he held up the 8x10 and posed for the picture with me, and so came out really cool. I think his handler did a great job taking the photo and all that stuff. But here is my picture. Oh, before I get to that, John Franklin was $40 an autograph, and that came with a free picture with him. So that's a great steal right there. So here is my picture with me and John Franklin. And here's a picture of John signing the 8x10. And his autograph on the photo. Moving on here, guys, sticking with Children of the Corn, and speaking of another person named John, the next person I met was John Philbin. All of you know him as Amos from Children of the Corn. He was also in, I thought, Point Break. He was in Return of the Living Dead. But of course, I got him on The New Kids, which I think is an underrated 80s thriller. And just like John Philbin was easily one of the coolest guys I ever met in my life. I mean, John, really cool guy, really funny, and things like that. And I handed him The New Kids, and he's like, "Oh wow, Gideon," which I think is really cool that he remembered his character name, because not many people that when you bring up rarer items, they don't really remember their characters. But it was really cool that he knew his character name from The New Kids. He was one of the villains, Gideon, and he was just like, "Oh wow, Gideon, Gideon rules." So I was asking him what it was like working with James Spader, and he's like, "Oh, James was great. He was cool, very talented guy, and just a really cool guy overall to work with." So I thought that was really cool that James Spader was a cool guy to work with on set. And then John was telling me, like, you know what? You just gave me a great idea. I gotta start printing out photos from The New Kids. He's like, you just gave me a good idea. Because I'm just assuming that The New Kids is probably one of his favorite roles, and things like that. So I gave him an idea, of him printing out New Kids merchandise. So that's pretty damn awesome. and we were talking, and he even was even telling me, like, he's a big fan of Andrew Dice Clay as well, and he actually got to share an elevator with Dice at one point. He was telling me a story about that, so I thought that was pretty damn cool. But just an overall really really cool guy, John Philbin. So here is my picture with me and John Philbin. And here's a picture of John Philbin signing my New Kids Blu-ray. And his autograph on the item. Anyway, moving on. Oh, and John Philbin was also $40 for an autograph, and that came with a free picture as well. So, really happy with that as well. So, moving on to the next person. The next person I went to go meet was Lynn Shay. This is a lady who I've been wanting to meet forever as well. I mean, I can countless amount of things over the years: Kingpin, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Insidious movies, Dumb and Dumber, just There's Something About Mary, countless amounts of movies over the years. But of course, I wanted her on Detroit Rock City, on my Detroit Rock City DVD, because I already have Sam Huntington and James DeBello on the DVD. So I really wanted to add her onto there. Lynn Shay was really, really nice as well, smiling, talking with everybody, and things like that. So, and she cracked a joke with me, and she was signing where her character was on the DVD cover, and she was like looking really, really close, and she was looking at like all the other people that I got, and she signed, and she's like, there's me right there, and I'm like, oh, I thought that was Natasha Lyonne, and she's like, no, she's far better looking than me. So we were messing around about that. So Lynn Shay, just an awesome lady overall. 80 years, I think she's 80 years old, and she looks fantastic for being 80 years old. I will say that myself. Unfortunately, with Lynn Shay, I did not get a picture of her signing my item because the way the table was set up and everything like that. Her agent was standing to the left, and basically as soon as you got up to her, you hand the phone to your agent, and then to get ready to take the picture and all that stuff. So I did not get a picture of her signing it, so I do apologize for that. But Lynn Shay was awesome. She was $90 for a combo, which I think is a fair price because she's been in so many things over the years. So that's a fair price. So here is my picture with me and Lynn Shay. And here is the autograph item. Okay, moving on here to the last guest. The last guest that I met at the show was a guy who I've been wanting to meet for a while as well, and that is Dick Warlock. All of you know him as Michael Myers from Halloween 2. And he's also been a stunt double for many movies over the years. He was Richard Dreyfuss' stunt double in Jaws and The Shark Cage, and he's Kurt Russell's stunt double in Escape from New York. But I got him on Spaceballs, my Spaceballs 11x17 poster, because he plays the Vulcan pinch guard, which I think is a funny role, like fun brief role. Dick was a really, really nice guy as well. He did not expect Spaceballs. He's like, ooh, Spaceballs. And he signed the poster, and I was asking him what it was like. I say this every time, like anybody that has worked with John Candy and all that stuff, I got to ask him what it was like working with John Candy. And Dick had nothing but the nicest things to say about John. Like the same thing with Anthony Michael Hall and PJ Souls. Like anybody that's ever worked with John Candy, they've always said the greatest things about him. Even George Weiner, who I met before, who was also in Spaceballs, said that John was just the sweetest guy, was a great guy to everybody, was nice, always nice to everybody. So that's really, really cool to hear that about John Candy all the time from all the people that he's worked with. and Dick Warlock was $60 for an autograph, and that came with a free picture with them, so that's a very good price as well. And Dick Warlock just he was smiling the whole time and laughing and things like that. So I can definitely tell he really enjoys doing these conventions and all that stuff. And he's really funny guy as well. But here is my picture with me and Dick Warlock. And here's a picture of Dick Warlock signing my Spaceballs poster. And his autograph on it. Okay, and that is it. That is the entire convention recap. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. You guys take care.